audience for our genre, I believe, are, I'm not gonna say dumber or slower, but there's a word. They're not as savvy as other genres, as rock, country, R&B. It's probably one of the main reasons that our genres look down upon, but they're not that savvy. They're not.
Nah, he's always been like that. That's always been his thought process. Can't really argue with that.
You're saying like the people who like rap and hip hop music, not the people who also make it. Reiterate.
Not the people who make it.
The rap audience is stupid. That's what Joe Budden said.
No. We gotta be politically correct.
Okay.
Yeah. The audience of our genre is not very savvy.
Yeah.
They're much more fickle. They are very, 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 very easily influenced. A large part of the audience is very, I would go as far as to say very ignorant. Like, I could put a whole list of adjectives that apply to our audience and our audience only, and it would be difficult to argue.
What do you think is going to change that, if at any point it will change?
Oh, who knows if it'll change now? Who knows? Maybe it'll never change.
I don't think that's completely true. Most of the fans are either artists in their own heads, or they want to be artists or whatever. Like most people probably who follow you are want to be rappers. And just lyrically, like if you listen to a hip hop, like a person who likes it, to me it's better than any other of the genres of music. Like better than country music or whatever. Maybe the lifestyle we live.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you retarded? How old are you?
24.
Okay. That's the gap. That's where we are. 30 years from today, hip hop will be how old? What hip hop artists today that we have, or that we've seen, and we've seen plenty of them, will be able to do what Prince is doing, what Madonna has done.
Kanye was.
Jay-Z, Kanye.
Kanye will definitely be able to do it.
Jay-Z and Kanye. The thing with hip hop is a lifestyle, right? But just like the people who like it or live it or where it's because they didn't have the tools these country singers have, or like these pop, they didn't have that lifestyle. So I guess it's different and appeals to people who maybe aren't as smart, but it's because of where we're from, the neighborhoods we're from. No fathers, no mothers, from urban areas and whatever. Maybe not the dumbest, but we just didn't have the same tools everybody else had. So I wouldn't call like hip hop fans dumb. We're just not as equipped as the other genres of music.
Other genres of music study what comes before them. We don't, our genre doesn't do that.
Rock and roll, look, rock and roll people, like let's say the kids who follow rock, this is the difference to me. In hip hop, it's like once you get a little bit older, you get 30, 40, whatever, that's it, what's next, what's new. You don't respect the people who came before you. It's still young, so whatever. In rock and roll, you'll find a 15-year-old little boy who knows about a rock star that's 65 years old. Ozzy Osbourne still has that. They respect it more. It's different, like culture-wise. That's what I feel.
Well, no. That's different because the genre is different. In rock and roll, you can put out an album and tour off that album for the next 10 years. Off that one album.
Hip hop is about youth. Like it's the message from the young people, and it's always been that way. It's geared towards young people. Rock is a little bit more universal. You know what I mean?
So wait, that's our argument now, that rock and roll is more
I'm not
universal
saying
than
that
hip hop?
anyone's wrong, anyone's right, but I think that's the difference between like rock and roll fans, where like you can still relate to a 60-year-old artist, but then in hip hop, it's like the person who's most relevant is the one closest to the street, the one that's youngest, the one that understands what's going on, current events. Because hip hop is all about current events, if you think about it. But rock and roll is not. Rock and roll is not talking about what's going on in the neighborhoods. They're not talking about what's going on your block. So 10 years from now, the hottest rapper is going to talk about what's going on my block right now.
I would think that a lot of people think that Jay-Z is the best rapper or one of the best rappers ever. Naturally, that's where he should be. I have not heard Jay-Z talk about the fucking block in a long time.
Because he's exactly what hip hop is going to become. He's the first rapper that has made it this far. Biggie was killed, Tupac was killed. Like all of our artists that had like that legacy, we didn't get to see them grow old. And that's the beautiful thing about Jay-Z, that we finally see the potential of hip hop. But yeah, you could talk about being on the Forbes list in hip hop. You could.
He's like the perfect blueprint to what an artist should be. Like
I think he's like the bigger picture in hip hop, because yeah, it comes from the block, and you see the growth of his music, and you see like where hip hop is going when you study Jay-Z, because it's like he went from projects in Brooklyn, and that was what his music was about, and now he's his businessman.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that, and I think that, you know, Jay-Z is just much more than a rapper because of all that he's accomplished. According to y'all, and I just disagree, according to y'all, fans of our genre, years from now, will be able to have like a Light FM, a 98.7 Kiss, and you know, those types of radio stations where they just play all of the classic, beautiful shit that niggas grew up on, according to y'all. I'm saying that won't be the case because there's a lot of bullshit in hip hop. And there's a lot of bullshit artists, There's a lot of people that was hot 2 years ago that have disappeared that you will never see again. And that probably will continue to be the trend because there's no development, there's no, and I mean, it's a much bigger issue.
I don't think that's a fair assessment of what's to come.
I seen on Twitter this whole week how the entire hip hop community made the biggest joke of Ja Rule going to jail. You talking about somebody who had hip hop in the palm of his fucking hands with hit after hit after hit after hit, who's looked on now as the biggest piece of shit in hip hop. No disrespect to him, because that's my man. And you telling me that our culture is just gonna start cherishing,
embracing,
and yeah, these people who have made these fucking great hits that everybody in the universe loved at some point later on down the line? Is this what you're telling me? Because I can give you a million instances that prove against that point.
Me? Yes, I'm telling you that shit. I don't know how many motherfuckers was going against Ja Rule, and I don't know how many motherfuckers was, you know, calling him, like, whatever, like, current events are current events, yeah, he's going to jail, yada, yada, whatever. But like you said, the music speaks for itself, and I think that his music, although he's not prominent now, I do think that later on down the line, we will appreciate what Ja Rule has done.
Why? We don't appreciate what Slick Rick has done.
That's not true. Like, stop like you can't.
Go outside and talk to some of these fucking fans, B. I'm not talking about y'all. Y'all in the mix. I'm in the mix.
And that brings me back to the other point of our fans not studying the history of what.
Which goes back to my original point, that our fans just are not as savvy as some other genres that y'all debated against. Y'all debated against that. Y'all did that. My point is exactly the same. It's not a knock. Our fans just aren't as savvy. And the people know it. I still love hip hop though.
Oh, do you?
Ah, ta-da.
Naturally I would.
Because he's not
Retards and all.
He's not a part of
a
it.
part of this weak ass culture.
You are a part of it.
Not, I'm talking about this weak
The
ass
fickle?
audience.
The
The
fickle?
fickle.
Oh, the
Are
fickle,
your
sorry.
fans?
Because he's a
True musician. Your fan base is very special, but you're not the only artist to have that kind of special fan base. And that's my point. Like, that's why I believe like this music will be timeless for us one day because of our fan base and because of like the following that we do have. Like, because you're not the only artist that you.
That's going back to the music
Okay,
versus culture.
but to counter that, there are a million rappers in the world, right? There's a rapper probably in every city, on every block, in every household, in every family. There's a gabillion of them. You'd be hard pressed to name more than 6 superstars in rap. You'd be hard pressed to name more than 8 people that the masses could give 2 shits about. You would be hard pressed. It's the culture. It's the fans. It's the fans of the genre, B. And let me not just keep saying that like it's just them. Everybody plays a part. The artists, the labels, retail, DJs, they all fucking play a part. Everybody's just doing a job. This is much less about fucking the love of the culture and the music. Everybody is working.